to our Team Huddle call. How are you guys doing? Sorry I was late. I don't know why, but my Wi-Fi was not working, so I had to hotspot it to an iPad that I have. So thank goodness I have more than one option. But still excited to be here. We have Shelly Nelson and Sherry Nickel in the house tonight. They are here because we are having our MVP retreat this weekend at this house and at the lake house. And so we are going to be working and strategizing on what it is that we have done, and evaluate and reflect and see how well it's working, and then also figure out how we can do what we can do even better than what we yes, pretty much, Krista. What we can do even better from this point forward. So you guys, that's the thing about this business. It's a thing about life, is everything is always growing, evolving, and getting better. And that's what we all have to do. At the same time, I know I've talked to a few of you, at the same time, we need to realize that what we did when it was working is still good, and not think that because we are always talking today about evolving and maybe even, you know, it's the word change. Change is like changing maybe your routine, but don't change what you're good at. You guys are doing it in your strength zone. John Maxwell, he always talks about how you don't want to work on your weaknesses. And that's a lot of times where our brain defaults. We're like, I'm not good at this. I got to get better at this. And John Maxwell says, don't work on your weaknesses because you're weak there. He says, grow in your strength zone. So all of you are here because you have been good at something that you've done in this business and on this journey. And as much as this business grows, evolves, and changes, don't get freaked out by it, and just keep doing primarily what you know you're good at, and work to get better in some of the areas that you want to grow in, because the more you can learn about it, the more you'll be able to help somebody else do it whenever they come into your business. But don't lose your confidence about what it is that you do in this business so well, because that's what got you where you are, and it's what's going to keep you solid and steady. We just have to be willing and open to letting people do whatever it is they're good at. And that's what's so amazing at this business, is we don't have to be one certain person or type. And that's what we've learned in our book club call, you guys, the 4 color personalities of MLM, is that every color, there's, you know, basically 4, which I love because I can keep up with 4. When you get over 4, I lose it. But every color is good at this business. And we have to just embrace who we are and who people are, and not try to change them into who we are and what we are good at in order to let them do this business, because we'll run them off or scare them off. So I hope that you guys are finding your confidence in that, because when I talk to people, that's some of the things that I've heard this week is just, you know, I don't know that I'm still good at Arbonne. And it's like, what you were good at before, you're still good at. And you may be, you know, learning something new, and that's okay, but don't doubt what you already know, because you guys, we haven't given up any one thing in this business that we do. We've only added other options and avenues and methods to be able to do it even bigger, better, and faster than we've ever been able to do it in the history of this company. So that's what one of the things that I know I've talked about this week. Another thing that I have had, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna talk about that, because that's how I get to know what I'm going to talk about with you guys each week, is what have I talked to somebody about in this week that I've helped them with, and if they need help with it, probably everybody else does too. The other thing that was mentioned this week was, what do you do whenever you get to the page in the Take a Look that says, tell me what holds you back or what hesitations you have, and tell me what you love about what I've just shared with you. And we are trying to figure out, you know, what it is that is the obstacle for people, or what holds them back from jumping in and saying yes. And then what is it that they connect with? And that really what they love is going to be probably what tells you who what their personality color is, red, yellow, blue, or green. You're going to hear them say, this sounds really great to me, this part of it. And that's going to tell you their color. But somebody was saying, well, you know, what do you say to somebody whenever they go, you know, no, I'm not interested in the business at all? And somebody said, well, I don't know what to say. I went blank on what to say whenever they go, nope, I'm not interested in the business. And you guys, the answer to that question that I always use whenever I'm talking to somebody is, I totally get that you may not be interested in the business right now, but can I ask you what it is that makes you think that, you know, this is not a fit for you? And then they will tell you specifically what that is. And that's the hesitation. That's the information that you need to be able to then go and help them see past it or through it or work them into the funnel. But you know, you've got good data. And it's part of what I learned in my nursing career. We were always taught to assess. Always find out more information as much as you can. And if you can assess and find out about people, do they need the products? Do they need the business? Do they need both? If you're talking to them about the products or the business, what is it that we need to know what it is that makes them say no to one, the other, or both. Because anytime you can get data, anytime you can get information and assess that person and what it is they see, believe, feel, all of the above, it's how you're going to know how to take the next steps. So don't let somebody say, I'm not interested, without saying, I totally get that you may not be interested right now, but can you please tell me what it is that makes you think that this isn't a good fit for you? I'm just curious. And then they will let you know what that might be. And then you can go, oh, well, you know, most of the hesitations, you guys, are I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't know enough people, or I'm worried about what people are going to think about me. And those are all things that we have answers to and can help people through if we know what it is that they're specifically thinking. And we don't have to be like, you know, somebody who's like just shooting off, you know, what we think they might be thinking, because we have the information and the data to know exactly what it is they're thinking. But only because we ask that one more question. I call it the $1 million question, because really there's nothing that people don't want in this business. It's that they can't see past some obstacle or hesitation in doing it. And I will tell you honestly, in our old presentation, I had to kind of fight. I was one on the committee with Arbonne, and I said, we need to know what the hesitations are. And people are like, why would you put that on there? Because it just lets people, you know, think of reasons why they wouldn't want to do this. And I was in this group of NVPs on this committee that was working on this. And I was like, you guys, I promise you, people are already thinking why they can't do this business. Unless we know what that is for them, we're handicapped in helping them. And if we ask and we find out and we talk about the white elephant in the room, then we're going to be able to help people know how they can still do this, even though this is the obstacle that they're seeing. So those were just a couple of things that I know I've talked about this week with people and that I thought might be helpful for you guys, because in this journey, we learn the basics. We know here's a take a look tool. We hear the take a look tool, and we can present the take a look tool if you watch and listen to a recording or you know, plug into an upline that's doing it with you on a regular basis. But the skill set comes in those tiny little details of what do I do whenever this happens? And those are if you can develop those, you guys, it'll get you a yard. And it's like we do this business and we here, but the goal here, and you, instead of getting stopped with, no, I don't want to do this business, but you can help gain some yards, you're getting closer to your goal every time you do. So that skill set's going to help you a lot. And it's a lot to take in the beginning. Learning the tool is good, and sometimes it's all you can handle, but then you you're like, I'm using the tool, I'm good at presenting, but then I'm still not getting the results. And that's the tiny little difference that gives you results versus doesn't get you the same results that somebody else with that skill set can get. Anybody have anything you have experienced or have questions about this week, or have good results happening because of what you're doing? And I do want to hear from some of our people that are new area managers are in qualification for area and region tonight, if we can as well, and share what you guys are doing, because we have some people that are on fire. Any questions, you guys? Sherry, is there anything else that you can think of? Pulling her off the chicken soup.
Well, today I had a lovely drive down here to see Carlita.
So glad she's sitting right here next to me live.
But I did a lot of phone calls on my way down here, and one of them was with a gal who's actually in the business, and we were just talking about how can you keep yourself motivated instead of constantly needing someone to because this person was talking about I just need accountability. I need accountability. And I'm like, well, I used to feel the same way. But one of the things that I've learned to do is evaluate and keep myself accountable. And at first I paid a girl to ask me questions. And then I started thinking, I can ask myself these questions. Why am I paying someone to ask me questions? I can ask myself these questions. The thing is you have to, so sometimes people need that accountability because they need someone to ask them the questions, but you don't want to be having someone ask you questions that you wouldn't be vulnerable with if it's someone you want to have in your team, because they might not be joining your, and so I just have questions that I just ask myself, and I call, my day for evaluation is Friday, and I just call it Freedom Friday because no one's at the house and I can just evaluate. But what I do, so she's like, well, what does that look like? And so I was just telling her the questions that I asked myself and one of them is how am I feeling about my business? And if you're doing this every single week, then you're going to know if there's something that you need to be working on. How am I feeling about my business? And then if it's well, I'm having a down week, because, in Arbonne, if we don't watch it, we can have super high highs and super low lows, and we can go from high to low. We're a crazy person. And so if you can evaluate and ask where you're at and how you're feeling about your business, then you can, if you're not feeling so hot about it, then you can be why? And for me, a lot of times I've not been having good sleep patterns. It's not Arbonne. It's me not taking care of my health. I've been eating garbage. And so then I can start following and recognizing okay, when I don't take care of me, then everything suffers. Another one is when you look at the recipe for success. What are the areas? How am I doing with scheduling? How am I doing? So I can go through each ingredient and say, how am I doing in these areas? And I do this for every area of my life, because I have parenting questions I ask myself. I have marriage questions I ask myself. I have questions in my faith that I ask myself. And then I have Arbonne business questions. So figure out the areas you struggle with, and then find those questions and evaluate yourself. Where are you struggling? And if you need to ask for help, then you'll at least know where you need to ask for help. Okay, I'm struggling with scheduling. Then if I'm struggling with scheduling, why? Is it because I'm afraid to pick up the phone? Or is it because I don't know what to say? Or is it because I'm just ignoring it? And if you are ignoring it, why? And so keep asking yourself questions till you get to the bottom line of it. So.
And you guys, that takes me to this this book. I was going through my bookshelf today, and I found this, The Treasury of Quotes by Jim Rohn. And you guys, I don't even know if most of you even know who Jim Rohn is, but he was kind of the father of network marketing training, and was so good. I mean, he is truly, for me, the Bible of network marketing. As much as I listen and learn and grow from John Maxwell in all of his books, this guy is specific to network marketing. So if you don't know Jim Rohn, I would encourage you to listen to something, go search out, he has resources. But I will tell you, all the people that teach network marketing today were students of him. And this is The Treasury of Quotes by Jim Rohn. And this page that I thought, oh man, I haven't heard Jim Rohn in a while, because we haven't done much with him. And I flipped it open and it said problem solving. And so when Sherry just sat there and said what she did, you guys, if you're having a problem with some ingredient in the recipe for success, if you're having a problem with, it starts out with scheduling, sponsoring, servicing, selling, then servicing, staying connected, or self-development and staying connected. If you're having a problem with any of those 6 things in our recipe that we know have to happen and be here in order for us to see success and the results turn out like it has been for everybody who is teaching you, then we need to evaluate what's the problem. And he says, to solve any problem, here are 3 questions to ask yourself. So just like Sherry was saying, I can do this myself. I can ask myself these 3 questions. The first is, what could I do? What could I do about this problem? And you guys, I do that with my life in general. When I'm worrying about something, I know for me, if I'm worrying, it's either I'm not being obedient and faithful to what it is I could do, or it's not within my power or my problem to do anything about, and I'm trying to mess with something that isn't mine to mess with. And that's where I always go to myself and go, okay, have I done everything I need to do about this thing that is bothering me in my head? Whether it's personal or my business, whatever, have I done my best? And is there anything I need to do that I'm not done? And if there is, the answer is simple. It's like Shelly Nelson shared on her training the other night on our Wednesday night call. She said, if the problem is you, that's the good news, you guys, because the good news is you can fix it. If you aren't doing what you know you need to do, you have the power to change that. And so that's the first like aha, which is a good thing, you guys. It's not a reason to beat yourself up. It's like, oh my gosh, I have control over me. I have total control over me. I can fix this problem because it's my problem, because I could do more than what I'm doing. The second thing he says, and that's, you guys, if you're not a reader, you can do the book club and start there. But if you're not, just learn, like if you're not doing book club and you're not reading, you have, Shelly Nelson just said, just do it. Yeah.
3 pages.
Yeah.
Because 3 pages is nothing. But
Yeah.
then sometimes I just read more
because then all of a sudden it got interesting and you realized how great it was. Sherry said, yeah.
Operate on old news.
Yeah. You can't. Shelly says you can't operate on old news. So you guys, reading, growing, and even if you have to get it through osmosis. Can I tell you, Philip Nelson, my husband, he says, and he has, because he's not a reader, you guys. He doesn't pick up these books and read, but because he lives with me, he gets it through osmosis. He gets it because he's connected to me. Like it or not, he's stuck with me. And he gets to listen to the book club calls because he's in the house with me or whatever. So if you just plug in, you're going to get it through osmosis. But if you're struggling and you're not plugging in 1,000%, if you're letting something go and you're not getting connected to the book club calls, the Wednesday night calls, the team huddles, and I know I'm speaking to the choir here, the Discover calls. I listen to the Discovers every week because it reminds me how to be grateful for what it is I have and to never take this for granted, because it is, I'm hearing and being reminded of the benefits and the gifts and the blessings and the story of somebody else who has lived this and has been blessed by it because they did. And it reminds me to stay grateful and to be excited to go share it with somebody else. So if you're not staying connected 1,000%, then you could, that's just like reading, listening to Learn and Burns. I mean, I had a rolling university whenever I first started my business, and there was always a CD playing in my car and teaching me how I could do this business better and learn and become a better version of myself. That's the only reason you see the people at the top. I will tell you that MVPs in my organization, that's what they did. And it was without fail. And if you're not, that's when you ask yourself, what could I read, or what could I listen to, or what could I plug into that I'm not? The third thing he says is, who could I ask? And this is the thing where you have uplines, you guys, that would do anything and desire nothing more than for you all to succeed. And if you haven't asked for help with what it is you need help with, then that's where you need to know you have it. And if you ask for it, you will get it. And people think, well, you're so busy or whatever. Your uplines, if you go to your upline and you ask, and if they can't help you, they can connect you to somebody who can. And those are the 3 questions that we need to do to problem solve. Because you guys, it is crazy right now what we have. And I've told everybody, people ask, why is Arbonne having the growth that they're having? And it's because Arbonne is in its element. It's in its time. And 40 years ago, we were way before our time and nobody cared, or even after we shared it with them, they didn't know they needed to care. Today, they know, they understand. As soon as they hear it, then you have all you need, and you should have the confidence you need to be able to challenge. Why in the world would they not want to do and participate with what it is you just shared with them? Because it just totally makes sense today, because you can't dispute the information that Arbonne has known and lived by and built this business by from day one. So are you doing those three things? And if you are, and you're seeing the success in your business, and I will tell you, I know Lauren DeMond, who is one of the people we can use as an example of success, because regional vice president is one of those mile markers that we see and shoot for in this journey. She has reached out and asked for help. I mean, it wasn't somebody going to her and saying, hey, can I help you? It was her saying, hey, do you mind if I chat with Krista, Kim, Sherry, and myself? She reached out and asked for help. And Krista's saying she's so coachable. And that is so true. But you guys, are you doing that? Because you all have the same access to the same people, the same upline lineage that the next person does. It's in the policy and procedures for Arbonne. You have a district manager, you have an area manager, you have a regional vice president, you have a national vice president, and in me, you all have an executive national vice president if you're in Sherry's organization, and you have that at your fingertips. I'm the EMVP for a lot of other people, but just for those of you who are here, that's what you also have. And you need to know you have that. But you also have to ask. If you're asking, you have to be coachable. And what makes Lauren coachable is that she puts into action what it is she gets, what she is learning from the time that she's spent with the people that are helping her. So, Lauren, would you like to share anything, since you are in qualification for region? I know you've shared a little bit at other times, but is there anything that you could do to help add to that or emphasize?
Hi, Carlita.
Hi, honey.
Hey. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, good.
You look beautiful, by the way.
What'd you say?
You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. We had our last meeting with our venue today.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and now we're at the SLU basketball game, but I've been doing like getting started, and I'm about to pop on a call. But what the biggest thing, I guess, I would say is lately we've been doing a lot of like group calls. I think I already talked about that though, like connecting everyone. So like you're not doing like one call for each person, like you're doing group calls. So like instead of me doing 3 calls a day and only getting in front of 3 people, I'm doing like 3 calls a day, and each call is going to have more than one person. And that's something Carlita really helped me with and taught me, that to do multiple people at once. So that's what I've been starting to do, and it has really helped my business a lot, especially with almost getting married. Like I am so busy with that, and like renovating our house and stuff. So I have to really like watch my time. I don't have a lot of time. So I definitely have to work Arbonne when I can. And like I said, like I texted my team and sent them a picture of myself, because Carson's like, you have to come to the SLU game tonight. You just sit at home. So he made me come out here, and I'm at the SLU game, and I sent a picture of my team to my team, like of me at this game. I'm like, where are you guys at? If you're not on this call, where are you? Because you guys need to be on this. I have like earphones in listening. So it's so important to be on these calls.
Yes. And a little bit of time in the middle. We can hear you, and it was perfect. So thank you, and have so much fun. But you guys, for Lauren, it's a wedding and working her business and stuff. But for everybody, it's life, and that's what we have to do. Is we have to learn how to do life at the same time we keep this business growing and building. So I hope that you guys will go through those questions and then ask yourself how you're acting on each one of those. What can you do? What can you read? And who can you ask? Because you guys, you've got every resource you need to be able to blow this business out of the water. And there's not a one of you that can't make that happen whenever you decide to believe in you the way that we know this company and we believe in you. and you do what it is that we're all doing to make that work for all of us. So I love you all. Go get on that Discover. Be reminded of what and how great this gift is that you have and you know about. And then get on the training call and see what you can do to learn how to do it better. And know that it's a blessing because you don't even have to read to do that. You're going to get to sit and listen to somebody else who's doing it and helping you learn how they do it so that you can do it too. So love you all. Have a great week.